How's it going? Again, I feel like I start every video with how's it going. It's all part of one video. I hope you're still okay after everything you've watched so far. Isn't this the intro? Shit. Hi, it's the beginning of November as the time of recording this. This part of the video is supposed to be the overarching storyline or something. I don't know. I wanted to put more effort into this October video. More effort in the sense that it's more effort than last year's videos, but I think it's still less effort than the old ones, the old November, Texas, all those videos. Although it might be the same amount of effort as the Texas video. I might just be remembering it wrong because it had so many clips. In essence, this video is planned to be an inspiration video, or it was at the beginning of the month. I was watching a lot of YouTubers, I will not say, in case I decide to use a different inspiration. Should I? I don't know. It's not important. Well, it is important. The whole reason why I'm making this video as it is because I got inspired by these two YouTubers. And I was like, I want to make a video like that. And then I didn't. they're very like travel based and like, they're like insightful, but they're going on like these adventures, these like grand little episodes that I didn't do. I suppose it's really hard to draw an inspiration and create a video when you're not doing the one thing that they do in their videos. It was more of a stylistic thing I wanted to emulate, but I suppose I couldn't even capture that. It's going to end up looking exactly like all my other videos, I think, which is fine. That's all right. Okay, so wait, I was watching those videos probably early September, maybe late September, and I said, yes, October is going to be that video. And then October began, and I did not make that video. I didn't actually start recording my October experience until about late October, when I learned I was actually going to be doing stuff. Because at the beginning of October, I'd actually been commissioned, I guess, hired to read for an audiobook, which is an interesting thing, I think. I don't think I have any footage of me talking about it, just because it was a product of the time. It was like a time crunch. I had to get everything done by a certain time. And in my mind, I wanted to get everything done by the first week of October, just because I wanted to get it over with. So lately, feelings have been up and down, mostly. This video is something that I've been meaning to make for a long time, just because it feels like I should, which sounds wrong, I guess. But this is sort of how I've always vented out my problems for years now. Which, again, I think is pretty weird. Normal people have, therapists or friends that they talk to. And I do talk to my friends when things get pretty rough, but it's just one of those things where I feel I can't tell people. It's something that I'm either embarrassed to talk about, or it's a topic that I know I shouldn't be telling somebody, just because, it's something incredibly personal, and I'm not on like that level with anybody these days. Yeah, that's really my fault. I don't really let anybody in at the moment. I mean, I maybe it's just because in high school problems seemed a lot smaller, and they are just such a smaller scale, and everybody has time and everybody cares. But at the moment, Everybody I know is busy with school or work, and, you know, we don't really have time to talk about things that we used to. Things, if I had this trivial problem, I'm not going to go to them as I would have in high school. In high school, I would have a problem and I would go to somebody and it would be this normal thing that we would do because we talked to each other about all of our problems because, we could. But now I'm busy all the time. Everybody's busy all the time. And, we can't go to each other being like, oh, this person's being this way to me, or like, I'm feeling like this right now. Just because, things are different than they used to be. This is sort of, I'm assuming, an adult thing that people don't talk about. There's been a theme a lot lately, a lot more so now, but even back a couple of years ago when Jade and I began a podcast, it was sort of our intention to almost make it about these things that they don't tell you in high school that adults sort of deal with. That was sort of the premise of the Witch and the Magician podcast, although the one episode that we ended up recording and then never doing it again was about our artistic ambitions and things like that. But, our main focus that we had, the idea that we had created, were these problems that adults have that they don't tell you about in high school. But even at the time, that was a couple years ago, more and more always crop up, just one of them being the slow disappearance of people in your life constantly. Not to sound, like I know everything, because obviously, a lot of people still stay friends with people through high school, through college. I still have friends from grade school, from middle school, from high school. There's people that I met in my high school era that I'm still friends with, not necessarily I went to high school with them. Actually, do I have anybody that I'm friends with that I went to high school with? I don't think so. Not like on the level 1 or 2 friendship, like closeness levels. Anyway, that's not important. But I suppose I do have friends from all eras of my life, although it is like 1 or 2. They still exist. When you're in it, you have these like 5, 6, 7 people in a friend group, and maybe you have multiple groups of that size. And then the further you go off in life, the more those people get busy with their own lives, and sometimes they have kids, and like it's something you don't really prepare for. It's nothing you can prepare for other than just saying that this is something that it'll happen eventually. Just, slowly losing the feeling that you can talk to anybody about anything with this mix of the people that you think you can tell is just going down really fast. Anyway, my point, I suppose, bringing all this up was that these videos for me have just been therapy during this time of my life where I've just got, 5 or 6 people I'm willing to tell. These videos are just more for those small trivial problems that I don't feel matter telling to anybody. Not just because I don't know what I would tell them, but also just, I don't want to bother them. They're busy. I can't tell people that I'm feeling empty 6 times a week. I can't tell them that I'm feeling like this again today. Especially just because I don't believe it myself a lot of the time. I feel passing moments of emptiness every day, And then I realize, no, my life is full. I have a part-time job that's paying my bills. And, I'm adding to society, I guess. I'm doing creative projects to keep my mind at ease. I'm working on my own personal business, slowly building that up to something that will eventually pan out to be something, right? On paper, I believe I have a perfect life. There's just always this feeling gnawing at me that it's not what it needs to be. I don't know. I don't know. I had a lot of sad moments this month. This month came with a lot, a lot of challenges actually. Beginning of the month, I was dealing with some personal stuff, and then throughout the month, smaller, more significant problems started popping up. I don't know why I said smaller, but more significant. I suppose they're sort of smaller. A lot of small, significant problems started bubbling up. Let's talk positive. Let's think about the positive thing. So, I believe at the beginning of September, maybe the end of August, I started scheduling my months or my weeks. It was kind of cool. I would go throughout the week and I would schedule that this is what I want to do during this time. I'm going to be editing during this chunk. I'm going to be filming stuff during this chunk. I wanted to make Let's Plays. I've been making Let's Plays again because of this chart. So far, they've only been Kadowa Shoujo, the game that I was playing in high school, which got me into Let's Playing solo, I guess. I was playing with other people, but then I did Kadowa Shoujo and decided, yes, I'm going to be doing this stuff solo, and I started everything that you see here because of that game, I think. This is actually kind of an interesting story now that I think about it. So that was the beginning of my junior year. We had been Let's Playing as a group by the end of sophomore year, I believe, or the summer of sophomore year, and then all of sophomore year. And then somewhere in the beginning of junior year, I decided I wanted to play Kadowa Shoujo because friends like Justin got me into it. And why did I say friends like Justin? It was Justin. Hi, Justin, if you're watching. He got me into Kadowa Shoujo, and I said, I'm going to play this, and I'm going to record it because I liked Let's Plays. And then that actually got me out of my shell a surprising amount because I don't really know. I just started talking. I was more comfortable talking to people because I played Kadowa Shoujo. And I was like, not because I was playing Kadowa Shoujo specifically, but because I was doing this Let's Play where I wasn't talking to anybody in particular. I was just talking. So I got better at talking. And this actually helped me in a bunch of aspects at the time because I didn't like doing presentations in front of the class before. I didn't like talking to people in class before. And then sort of as this weird domino effect. So that helped me with my editing skills and everything else. So then senior year, I had actually, I believe junior year, I had actually done a video for my history class, which ended up pretty good, actually. I think it turned out really well. So this domino effect of me creating this video, or me starting Kadowa Shoujo, or starting the Let's Plays, then doing Kadowa Shoujo, getting more adjusted with social and editing, and then moving to this video in history class. And then my senior year, I had a math class. And this math class wasn't really a normal math class. It was this cool teacher's first year as the financial math teacher. I think it was her first year on campus. So she didn't really know what she was doing. As far as a lesson goes, we were kind of just winging it throughout the entire year. So I believe we had two final projects. One of them was the December midway final, and then there was the end of the year final. And so for both of them, I believe our job was to sort of create a concept for something. I don't really know why we were allowed to make videos for a math class that had nothing to do with math. We created a short film about this guy who couldn't pay for something because he got his credit stolen. Because that was sort of a topic, was create a project about credit, I think. So we decided to make a music video because we had a friend who could sing and I could edit, and then we had these two cool friends who could act and stuff. They were cool. So we went around and we filmed across the entire campus, and it was great. And then this was my first actual time directing and filming something. I never actually filmed something with my camera, or I think it was my iPhone 4. So we just went around filming, and it was this weird thing where I was actually getting people in shots, and I was filming, and it was fun. It was this really fun experience that I was I think this is what I want to do. But at the time I was in high school, and I thought I wanted to do something else or nothing at all. And then at the end of the year, again, we all got together and we filmed another project, which was supposed to be a commercial. I think the entire second half of the year was dedicated to making a business, which I suppose also translates into my life. This might actually be the most important class I ever took, actually. And yeah, so that class sort of made me think, this is what I want to do, you know? One big sort of important part of my life, I guess, that was going on, was it last year? I guess it was. It was the beginning of last year and the end, or I guess it was all of 2019 and the beginning of 2020. I was going to school a lot. I was going to film school, and I was doing projects very constantly, just new project every couple of weeks, every month there was something new we had to do, and it was a lot of fun, and I made a lot of friends those 2 years. So one thing that I've really noticed is that I miss being on set, like, a lot. I was listening to a podcast the other night at work, and they had mentioned that they had gone to film school. Just a Twitch streamer, and I had no idea that they had gone to film school. They didn't feel like that kind of person. And they mentioned, like, yeah, just, being on set for this thing, and like it had reawakened this like thought inside of him. And I was just like, yeah, I do wish I was on set. I do wish I was able to do that sort of thing again. Just because, being on set is just this magical feeling of like these things coming together and like these people working together and everybody having their job. And like it just feels natural. It feels so good to be there. And thankfully, I have kept up with really good friends from film school, and everybody seems to still want to be doing what they're doing, which is cool. So we have actually been, conceptualizing projects and things that we want to put together. So thankfully, I think soon I'll be shooting a lot if things go the way they should be. Yeah, just working on things feels really good. Feels both productive, but then also like I'm able to, really get everything I want out into the open, like making these is cool, but there's not a lot of effort. There's not a whole process that really goes into it other than I'm sitting down with the mic, I set up the lights, I set up the camera, sure, but it's not a set. A set's got, people, it's got life, and I'm not the one on camera. I'm making sure everything behind camera runs smoothly, and that's the place where I really want to be. On another note, I have been working a lot lately. I've been doing a lot of Let's Plays, actually. That's sort of like this weird creative outlet that got me back into production, sort of, in the first place. Again, not that I was ever out of it, but just I was really stagnant and like really lazy for a long time. It's just fun. I started all of this because I was playing Let's Plays, and it was just this fun thing to do. And then Let's Play sort of lost fashion, and then we wanted to do live action stuff, which created all of this, which created all of, my hobbies, my outside, my college, my everything, because I started Let's Playing with my friends. And that all sort of, was its own important thing. And then, years later, I'm stagnant. I'm sad. But, this game brought me back. Brought me back to life. I started working on like my business and thing again. Which is cool, And it's because this channel has turned into these videos, these like really personal diaries that I have. I didn't want to upload video gameplay. I didn't think that was cool to put here. It just didn't feel right. Kind of made it feel like these personal videos wouldn't have as big of an impact, you know? It's like you just made 30 shitty Let's Play videos, so why are you talking about your depression? Like, you were normal during those videos. So that's all on its own channel, and those are doing, great. Not that they're, performing well. They get like 1 view per video. One person's out there sticking it with me, but they're helping me just have a creative outlet of just doing something, keeping my editing hands warm, I guess. And it's fun to do. Even if nobody watches them, I know that I'll be able to go back and watch them whenever I want and enjoy myself. And that's kind of the point of them. The point of these videos also, I've said it in every single other one, they're not for anybody else. They're for me to go back and enjoy. And then they're really here to tell the things that I don't want to tell other people. They're here for me to talk, and if my friends want to watch them and care, then they can. And that's really all that's important to me. If somebody wants to know what I'm going through, they can just watch these videos. Or they can ask. I always tell people if they ask. Hey, so I kind of wanted to use this time to just kind of talk about things like, the wedding I just shot. I just shot a wedding a couple days ago. Spent a week editing it. Turned out great, by the way. The people loved it. The bride and groom, they loved it. It was my first wedding video, so it was like a really interesting experience to sort of do, right? Because I've noticed, I've shot real estate a couple times. I've shot, events. I've shot a couple of videos for a few businesses. Nobody really cared. But you shoot one wedding video, and everybody thinks like you've made it. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're doing such a great job. I'm so proud of you." And it's like, it was just a wedding video. Like, something about making a wedding video makes people think you've made it, and I think that's weird. Because, I guess every videographer, every photographer does weddings. It's kind of just a thing. It's kind of like our default. Nobody really wants to do it. Some people want to do it. Nobody really wants to do it. Everybody has their bigger projects in mind. But everybody does it because it's kind of just something that we got to do, right? It's fine. It's cool, I'm into it. So yeah, just a few stories from that day. I crashed my drone. That was an interesting thing. It didn't work for a couple days. The gimbal on the camera wasn't working. I had to troubleshoot that. But yeah, that was something, again, everybody seemed to react to. Everybody loves drones, I'm learning. I was there, I was flying it around, and all the kids and even some of the adults were like, "Whoa, drone, whoa." And then like I show this, on my social media because I think it's funny, the drone crashing. And then, I got a lot of people reacting to it, like, "Oh man, rip the drone." Oh, I showed this. A couple different people told me that they showed it to somebody else, which I think is crazy. Like, but I guess in my line of work, for something that everybody does, right? Wedding videos, drones, to normal people who don't do this, I guess these things are super interesting. Like, whenever I talk about my drone, my family lights up, they're like, "Wow, this is like a piece of equipment he has. It's this cool thing." It's crazy. I don't think it's that impressive, but I guess a lot of people do. It's just, one of those things, I guess. Another story of the day, we had this golf cart ride where the bride and groom got in the back of the golf cart, and then I got in the front while the photographer who we met that day, Emily, she was really cool, drove it. And she drove
like a maniac. It was crazy, but it was cool. It was fun. Bride and groom in the back going wild, like, damn, she's going fast. I was in the front like, this is normal. But then the bride was like, I want to be in the front because the back, obviously, it's not ideal because there wasn't a lot of space. And I was like, all right, that's chill. I'll go in the back with me and the groom. And then my feet were dangling off the ground. I almost fell. I almost dropped my camera. I had to hold on really tight to my camera to make sure it didn't fall. It was wild. But overall, an amazing day, an amazing experience to do. It was just really fun. You're your own hardest critic a lot of the time. And, nobody cares about these things, right? They look at it and they go, wow, that was really cool, really interesting. And then that's it, everybody was really happy with it. And I'm sitting there like this, but it looks weird. Like the coloring's all creepy and like the shot might have lasted too long or the shots were too samey. They didn't care. Everybody loved it. I was praised on multiple angles. Even my professor from college, I showed it to her because I was like, if anybody's going to give me either the hardest feedback or like the most profound take on the whole project, it'd be her. And she said it was great. I captured great moments. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess it was just about capturing great moments. And that's what I feel like my life has turned into, I guess. Just these small little moments that I'm capturing. Next year's goal, I believe, because it is the end of October now. November is the end of the year, as we've talked about in multiple vlogs now. My goal for next year is to work on myself really, really well. I want to work out all the time. I want to, get rid of some demons that I have floating around in my head. That's going to be an interesting one next year. I have a few, creative goals, but I'm not going to talk about them because we all know, as every time I've talked about creative goals, they never work out. So just figure it out with me. I guess whatever I upload. So I've actually been incredibly productive this month, which is great. I've actually dedicated the month to being productive through my scheduling and through my gigs. That reading gig lasted a good amount of the month, and then around the last week I had the wedding gig, and then that was this whole interesting saga. October was actually surprisingly interesting because of all these things, and it might not have been the video that I wanted it to be at first, but then it ended up being this hyper interesting month with my feelings and with what I actually ended up doing. So it ended up actually being sort of a success month to record. I wanted to make that video specifically because I have two things coming up that I really wanted to do the same style for, and I wanted this one to sort of be my first look into that style, but I don't think I'm able to do that yet. I mean, November videos are always popular on this channel, aren't they? Haven't I done two now? I think so. It's actually kind of interesting to think about. November has always been sort of a beacon of creativity for me. Because of those videos and because I sort of glamorize them so much in my mind, is that November 2-3 years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago now, was sort of the turning point. I didn't know what I was doing at the beginning of it, and by the end of it I knew that this is what I wanted to do today, here, right? Getting paid for doing audiobooks, this creative work with my microphone and my audio, getting paid for doing a wedding with all this equipment I've bought and all the experience I've crafted through years of college now. That video 3-4 years ago was the start of all of it, right? And everything since then, every little project I've worked on has impacted who I am, right? I'm about to start crying. Right? All those videos that I've done since then
including all of my month videos where I was, documenting how I was feeling. All the hardworking videos we ended up doing, like our news video or like our little films that we had to do in class. Everything sort of amalgamated into the progress wheel, Even these, right? I've done minimal editing, minimal storytelling, but they're just something that I worked on that kept me going, I think I mentioned this in one of the other clips, but I don't talk to people as often as I should. But making these videos sort of gets these feelings out into the world where I want to tell people. I want to tell people all these things I'm excited about and things that I've been doing that I'm excited for. But I don't want to bother them with the amount of information. And putting it on YouTube is sort of this way of saying, if you want to know, here you go. And if you don't, then I don't bother you, right? I am excited for the rest of my life. Everything that I'm going to be doing. Every job I end up getting. Every friend I start making. Everything I post on this video or this channel. Everything I post on social media. I want to see the future. I want to be the future. That's cringy. Sorry. All right. I'll see you guys later.